What is up, fellow summoners? Welcome back to the channel today. Let me pull you in real close here and say happy Valentine's Day. It is not quite Sunday. It's 11:30 right now, so hopefully when you are seeing this, it is Valentine's Day, if I've done everything correctly. I'm sorry, I've been MIA for a couple of days. I had planned on getting this video out on Thursday. Had it pretty much all done, ran into some issues with my video capture device, so here we are a couple days later. I'm so sorry. Just is what it is. So I wanted to get this video out kind of like as he was becoming available, but as it turns out, you've probably already seen a bunch of other videos and live streams on him, so I'm kind of late to the game. But what I want to do is, this is the first time that I have been back sort of, I guess, full-time, that a new character has been released to the game. So again, I'm trying to get back into the game one step at a time, and if I can really dig into these characters as they're released, it will certainly help me to do that. So I am not going to do like we used to do closer look videos on characters. That is not going to be this style where I break down every single use of the character, rotations, all that fun stuff. This is just going to be generally a basic overview of the character and my initial thoughts on him. I called him Psycho Booty in my video on Thursday, and ever since that, I cannot stop calling him Psycho Booty. So I am sure we'll reference him as Psycho Booty several times throughout this video, because I can't remember that his name is Psycho Man, and I think actually Psycho Booty fits him better. So you're welcome to adopt that if you would like. I just wanted to see how many times I could say booty in one video. Shout out to NIH Sean over on Twitter. You can see he's got a pretty cool little picture here of Psycho Booty as a Russian nesting doll. I was curious, not to take up too much of your time, I was curious as to what this guy actually looked like. I didn't know if MCOC changed him as far as his coloring and everything. So jumping over to the good old Google machine, and no, this is what he looks like. He looks like, if you see this picture, an ear of corn, a corn cob, if you will. He looks like an ear of corn stuck into a robot helmet, and he has a thesaurus, which it kind of looks like one of those, if you have children, I think they're called leapfrog pads, like it teaches you like words and stuff. Yeah, he's a weird character, I'm not going to lie. It's not to say he's bad or not fun to play with, he's just odd. And certainly Kabam has a way of kind of highlighting characters and bringing characters to the game who are a little bit odd. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing, it's cool. He's just a little bit strange. So, all right, let's jump over into some gameplay footage. So hang tight. So I just have a 3-star Psycho Man. I do not have access to the content creator program or anything like that. He was given as a gift, I think, to everybody a couple weeks ago. So I've been playing around with him, testing him for the last couple of days. I have played enough characters, done enough reviews, spent enough time in the game that even though I don't have them as a higher star level, I really can get a pretty good idea of how they're going to fit into the game, even playing with them just as a 3-star. Can I say that this is not going to be, I might have mentioned this before, this is not going to be one of those like closer look, deep dive videos. Dave has already made one of those. If you want to check that out, he's partnered with MCOC. He puts those out on their channel. I will have the link to that down in the description below and might even play that here towards the end of the video. But what I do want to do is just give a very, very brief overview of the character so that you know what's going on if you haven't seen any of that before I jump into a fight. So essentially, there's a lot of different things. There's a lot of utility built into his kit. But essentially, he's got 3 emotions. I call them stances because it's kind of more in line with what the other characters in the game are. So he has 3 stances: hate, fear, doubt. Always starts in hate, cycles to fear, cycles to doubt, back to hate. When you land your 4th light attack, that's what will switch you between the stances. Whether that makes contact or not. So hate essentially is the DPS stance. When you throw the SP1, it puts a shock on. When you throw the SP2, it puts a fury buff on yourself, which stacks twice. Those last for 14.5 seconds. Then each special one that you throw after that applies an additional shock for each fury you have on yourself. So you can get up to 3 shocks on each character. Essentially, I think that is supposed to be the stance that you use most for just general purpose, general questing with the character. That would be the highest DPS and the quickest way, essentially, to get through a fight. That's the only thing that matters to you, is just killing the character, not having to worry about any other crazy nodes or debuffs or anything like that. So Fear, when you get out of Hate into Fear, Fear has a built-in taunt, basically. The enemies are 70% more likely to throw their special, which is pretty cool. Another thing that's interesting about that is when the enemies do throw a special, you can read it right there. When you dash back in, you actually gain 25% of a bar of power, which is quite a lot. And I think Fear, because of the taunt, is really used to kind of set up your next move. Whether that be you are trying to drain the enemy's power because you want to go into doubt and then control the fight yourself, which I'll talk about next, or you're just trying to drain the enemy's power so you can cycle back around to the SP2 with Hate and not have to worry about the enemy throwing a special or something like that. I don't know. Fear to me doesn't seem like it's a spot where you hang out, just to put it bluntly, because there's not anything too crazy that goes on there other than the taunt. I feel like it just sets you up for your next move. That's all I'm saying. So then once you go into Fear, from Fear into Doubt, all special 1 and 2 are always unblockable when you are in Doubt. The special 1 drains the enemy. I think it's 30% of a bar of power. The special 2 actually special locks the enemy, which is interesting. I have not seen that before. I'm sure it may already be out there. Again, it wasn't around when I was playing the game. But essentially, the enemies still gain power, whether that is, you're hitting them or they have some sort of buff on themselves. So they're still gaining power, but regardless of if they've got 1, 2, or 3 full bars of power, if they are special locked, obviously they can't throw a special, which is pretty unique. The one thing that is sort of strange about that, at least I feel like it's kind of strange, is if you throw the special lock, right, which lasts for however long it's going to last for. I'm not sure I'm sure it's listed in here somewhere. Special attack 2, so 12 seconds. So 12 seconds, they are special locked. 12 seconds is a long time in the sense of you're basically just hitting into the character, right? So you're either backdraft intercepting, you've got them locked into the corner and you're heavy spamming, or you are parry stunning them and hitting into them. Regardless, you're giving them a lot of power. So more than likely, when the special lock debuff, when it falls off of the enemy character, you probably will have pushed them into 3 full bars of power. So you are either going to have to stay in Doubt to throw the SP2 if you can get back around to it to lock them down there, or at bare minimum, you're going to have to stay in Doubt to throw the special 1 to then drain a portion of that power back so then you can switch over into another mode. So I don't know, it's interesting. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm sure it'll find like really niche, unique situations that it's probably really, really good for, things we haven't even thought about or in the game yet. But I could find myself in situations often where like I'm so focused on staring at my character, trying to figure out like, should I throw a special? Am I gonna have too much power to be able to throw the 4th light attack to get back into Hate? Like, there's just so much going on. And again, I'm sure it'll all become intuitive the more you play with the character. But once you are past, Act 4, even mid Act 5, into Act 6 and more endgame content, Alliance War stuff, just imagine how difficult it would be to try and manage whatever crazy nodes you're fighting against while also trying to fully read your situation. Again, I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying that it seems like such an added layer of complexity on a fight that truly just doesn't need to be there when there are so many other options that do similar things or do the same thing but easier and better. That kind of seems like the theme that I'm probably going to wrap all this up with. But yeah, let's jump into Winter Soldier. I'm probably gonna screw this up royally because it's been a while since I've like talked and played the game at the same time. So let's run through, I guess, a DPS rotation. So we'll switch to Fear, get him to throw the special. You'll see when he throws this and we dash in, we gain 25% of a bar of power, which he is 70% more likely to throw a special here. Thank you. So there's the power gain. We're gonna switch right over into Doubt. Probably isn't going to throw anything because he's 70% less likely. So we'll switch out. And when we dash in here, we'll stay in Hate, throw the SP2. This gives us the Fury. So essentially, you just do that again, and you'll build up another Fury. Every time you switch into a new stance, you'll see your Fury refreshes there. So this is where, like, I want him to throw a special. Yeah, thankfully. I want him to throw a special, but when you're in doubt, he's less likely to throw a special. So it just seems like it's counterintuitive to what you want to do. So second Fury buff is on the character now, on the enemy. And from this point, I believe what you're supposed to do, again, if we're just regular questing, just trying to kill the character, is get back to an SP1. Which, I screwed that up, I'm sorry. I was worried about my Fury falling off if I threw the SP1. See, and again, it's just another layer of complexity that I just don't think needs to be there. So this, oh crap, why am I missing my special button? So this will be one shock normally from the SP1, and then adds 2 more for each Fury on the character. So from this point, if I just keep cycling around. And putting the shocks on the character, I guess that's the highest, supposed to be the easiest, best way to get through the fights, to kill the enemies the quickest, I suppose. Don't get me wrong when I say this. I don't find him that fun to play with. That doesn't mean that he is a bad character by any means. I'm just trying to see, can I throw in? Yeah, see, you can't really squeeze in 2 S1s without jumping out of Hate to refresh your Furies. I just because a character does not have, I don't remember if I said this at the beginning or not, but just because a character does not have high damage does not mean that they're a bad character, right? We set the bar basically by how much damage does the character do, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. You know, ultimately you have to kill the enemy, and the quicker you can do that, the easier it is to clear content, and ultimately the more fun it is. It's fun seeing big yellow numbers, but that's not the ultimate, I guess, litmus test of a character, truly. So he's not a bad character, and I don't dislike him because his damage is low. What I dislike about him is how much brain power it takes to play him at his base form in the most common easy fight that there is. And again, I'm talking while doing this, which if you've never done that, can be very difficult. So I'm sure I screwed up that fight in some way or another, and I'm sure you'll point that out to me. But the point is, the higher the content that you get into, and your focus really needs to be on the enemy, I see him being less and less and less viable for that content. I mean, I'll jump back in here and I guess try to show you what his power control cycle would look like. So he'll throw the SP2. So let's switch over into Doubt. Okay, so now we're in Doubt. Let's go ahead and throw the SP1. You'll see that's the power drain, right? Which it's not an instant power drain. It's really not even, like, overwhelmingly a lot of power. So I don't want to throw the 4th light attack here. I actually just want to stay. You can see I'm gaining power, which I will say that is pretty cool. Oh, what happened there? I'm not 100% sure what happened there. So let me throw the SP1. Hang tight. We have to cycle back around here. So we'll cycle into Fear. We'll get him to throw a special. And then we'll go over into Doubt. He does gain a ton of power, which is really cool. So unblockable S2. special lock on the character. So we got a couple ways we can play this. Of course, he's not going to dash at me. I was going to try to heavy spam him in the corner. But by the time I've got that set up, you can see. So we're screwed, right? We're screwed in a normal fight. In the sense that normally, if it's higher content, they just throw the SP3 and kill you right there. So the only way for me to get out of that is I have to throw my SP1 and hope to trigger. See, okay, he did it right there, but that's another point. Like, you're hoping, you're trying to get out of the stance if you're not trying to power control, but the stance causes the enemies to not want to throw a special, and I can't switch out of the stance without hitting into the character, giving them more power. Oh, I don't know, guys. I don't know about this one. I don't know about this one. So to wrap this all up, and I feel like I'm probably going to repeat myself for like the 5th time here, but I actually wanted to steal Ludum Tater's Power Index. I'll have the link to his channel in the description, which I'm sure you're probably, if you're watching my videos, I'm sure you know who he is already, but I want to make sure that I give him his full dues. I love the Power Index. I tried making a similar series to this at the tail end of my channel 3 years ago, and he has just taken it to a whole nother level. I mean, his understanding of numbers, his editing, his presentation is way far beyond anything that I could have done, even if I would have had more time to attempt it. So I just want to say that, Ludum, I love these videos very, very much. I don't mean to steal your thunder on any of this. If you were about to drop a full video on him, sorry. All I want to say is, as far as tier lists go, this is my favorite because it really gives sort of a equal playing field for all the characters to be judged by, and really sort of pulls kind of the preferences out of everything, which I really like. I think what you will see is he's probably going to fall, if I had to guess, he will fall low tier 5, possibly even down to low tier 4. You know, you look at characters like OG Vision, Dormammu, who do kind of have a very similar role as far as more utility based, you know, average-ish damage, and I think he's going to fit right into that role as well. So DPS, damage is low, average at best once you get him ramped up. Playability, I think, is low, which honestly, I think that's his biggest weakness. If he was easier to play, I wouldn't even care about the damage. Suicide capabilities, he doesn't do well with suicides. Utility's good. Power control is good in certain circumstances. What was the last one? Sustainability. Sustainability really isn't there. It doesn't have any immunities, has no healing factors. So you've got, what is that, 4 of 6 that are, you know, categories that are at average at best, if not below. So yeah, I think that's probably where you're going to see him at. I think ultimately, and I'll let Dave's video play here. Hi, Dave. Let me turn that down. Yeah, this video's gone on too long, so let me just wrap it up with the pink bow. I don't want to say I'm disappointed by the character, because as soon as I saw him, again, I've played this game long enough, I've seen enough characters that I already had a pretty good idea of where he was going to fall at. Most of the time, when you've got sort of these techie characters that lend themselves more naturally to the utility side, you usually see them paired with subpar DPS. And again, I'm repeating myself, DPS is not the end-all be-all, but ultimately low DPS and low playability, in the sense that I think he is... I think to get the maximum out of him takes way more effort than similar characters who have higher DPS with lower effort. So I think I'll leave it at that. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm super excited to finally be back into the swing of things here. Hopefully down the road, if I can get myself into the content creator program, I can do more in-depth videos once I have access to higher ranked characters. I would absolutely love that. So appreciate, as always, the love and support in these videos. Sorry for going MIA for a couple days on you guys. If you would like, and I would suggest following me over on Twitter. I post videos and stuff there just to keep you guys up to date if stuff is going on or if I've got breaks coming up or whatever. The link to my Twitter is down in the description. I think that's about it. Yeah, I'll have the link to the video that's playing here from Dave, his deep dive. I'll have the link to Ludum's channel. Shout out to him again. I hope he's not too mad for me just totally ganking his power index. But anyway, guys, appreciate you as always. Peace.